Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. So yesterday while I was live streaming, one of my viewers, Jules, alerted me to the fact that there was currently a very sad Amber Alert that was basically being issued out of Washington State. I told her, send me everything, and she did. She sent me everything via email while the show was going on. Unfortunately, I forgot. Yeah. And, you know, that's shame on me because this was a very important thing that I wanted to cover at the end of the show, but I forgot to cover it. So I woke up this morning. It was 7 in the morning when I woke up. It's 8. I ate my breakfast. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come online and I'm going to do a video about this Amber Alert to get the message out of there. The good thing is, though, guys, that this Amber Alert has been canceled and the baby, 2-year-old, has been returned to their parents unharmed, which is excellent. The best news on the planet. But I wanted to, because I thought, you know, most Amber Alerts are of a custodial parent not returning a child or, you know, taking a child, whatever, domestic stuff like that. So that's what I immediately assumed when Jules alerted me to this Amber Alert. This one actually was a stranger danger. This was a total stranger to this little baby. This was a man that observed the 2-year-old walking down the street. I don't know the circumstances of that yet. Why would a 2-year-old be walking down the street? The way that the article read was as though the 2-year-old was unaccompanied, but maybe the 2-year-old was walking slightly ahead of the parents. I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions, but that's just not a big no-no, a 2-year-old walking down the street. Anyway, this guy observes the 2-year-old walking down the street, hops out of his car, grabs the 2-year-old, puts the 2-year-old in the car. So that's what made me want to, you know what, let me still cover this because this is horrible. This is very scary for us parents, right? So let's go ahead and look at some of these pictures that Jules supplied us with. This was the guy. He's currently in custody right now. And police did a great job getting video surveillance, kind of tracking who this guy is. If this guy had any type of PDF proclivities, he definitely needs to spend the rest of his life in jail. I just really think that we are too lenient with our sentences when people do egregious and heinous things like this. Even though so far it is basically being said that he did nothing physically to the 2-year-old, that does not mean that he did not want to do something, but maybe because he saw that his face was plastered all over the news, that he decided not to do anything. The very thought about wanting to do something untoward against a young person that young, to me, should be a life sentence. I mean, you know, unless this guy can positively say that he was driving down the street and saw an unaccompanied 2-year-old and he decided to take that 2-year-old into his custody and bring them to a police station or a hospital or something like that, like he's being a good Samaritan, which of course you wouldn't do it that way, right? So the proper way to handle a situation like that is stop your car, go up to the 2-year-old, try and communicate with them as best you can. You're not going to do much communicating though, because they're two. Call the police and remain at the side of the road with the child. Why? Because the parents might come and then it'll be resolved there. Or at least the police will come and see where the child's at that moment, and they'll be able to investigate, maybe backtrack where this juvenile came from. You don't put them in your car and then drive off into yonder. That's kidnapping. Nobody knows what your intention is. So unless he has some cockamamie story of, you know, being a good Samaritan, this guy should get life in prison. I just really think we're too lenient on the way that we punish people for doing things like this, even if they end up not making the ultimate sins. Let's keep going. So this is the little beautiful diamond that this man disrupted her little baby life, you know, giving her unnecessary trauma. Hopefully she won't remember any of this. But look at that little cutie pie. Unbelievable. Leave these kids alone, man. Leave them alone. Okay? If you're a PDF, go take care of that. But yourself, come on. We don't need you. Okay? We really don't need you in our society. Before you go and hurt somebody, Go take care of that. We won't be mad, okay? We should make that legal. If you got these kind of proclivities, we should make it legal and safe and peaceful for you to go take care of that. And if you don't know what I mean, put an end to it, okay? Put an end to it, like Silent Green. No, not Silent. It's Soylent Green, like the movie Soylent Green, where people would go and like end themselves and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. Like, play nice music, you know, a collage of all the good things you did in your life. You know, your family and friends saying, it was so nice knowing you. You were such an amazing person. It's great. And then just go take care of that, man. We don't need you in our society. You're a PDF. Anyway, this is the guy right here. They did an excellent job once again identifying the dude. Well, not identifying because he's not identified at this time, but at least getting a description of the subject. Also, the car. They made sure that they got that nice, you know, description of the car. And this is our little baby, little beautiful little baba. This Amber Alert has been activated by the Washington State Patrol on behalf of the Tacoma Police Department. Incident details: the lad was last seen on 6/14/2025, approximately 9:30 a.m., walking in the street off of Steel Street. What was she doing walking? When a stranger male picked her up, placed her in a vehicle, and drove away. Well, I don't understand that. If those parents were negligent, they need to go to jail too. Shoot. They certainly do. All right, let's get that out of there. You like, how could your 2-year-old be walking so far from you that this guy can actually do that and, you know, and get away with it? Like, there'd be a fight. You know, should be a fight, right? Whatever. Let's keep going. So this is a brief. An Amber Alert issue for 2-year-old Tacoma girl has been canceled. According to police, the girl was seen walking in the street when a stranger picked her up, placed her in a car, and drove away, heading toward 38th Street. An Amber Alert issue for 2-year-old Tacoma has been canceled. She was found safe. On Saturday morning, the Tacoma Police Department issued the alert after a kidnapping near the Wendy's at 4112 South Steel Street. Well, we know, according to police, the girl was seen walking in the street. This is not good verbiage because it's making me believe that this was an unattended juvenile. When a stranger picked her up, placed her in a car, and drove away, heading toward 38th Street. 2-year-old girl was not hurt and has been reunited with her family. We need to understand why this family was not properly supervising this 2-year-old. That is a 2-year-old, guys. We need to understand why she was not properly supervised. You know what? Before we go, well, the police have detained the suspect and will be questioned by detectives. The investigation remains ongoing. This is a developing story and will be updated. Okay, thank you for letting us know that. But I need to go to the devil's playground, the Twitter, because I need to see if somebody on Twitter, aka X, has more information on this, because this is not sitting well with me. Okay, this whole parents thing, it's not sitting well. So it's not sitting well with me. There's no reason why a 2-year-old should be unsupervised. Delia, okay. I guess they took it down. They took that down because she was found. Okay. Did I spell her name incorrectly? Let me see. No, they're spelling her name wrong. Trying to figure out. I'm trying to see if we could find some type of, let's just bring this over here so you guys could rock this out with me. See if we could find some information on this. Let's go back over here. For Delia Eber. That doesn't look like no Delia. What's wrong with them? It says composite. Oh. All right. I just don't think there was a lot on it because, you know, she was found so quickly, which is amazing, which is great. So we'll have to we'll have to do a deep dive in this and kind of figure out, you know, if we could get more information. But usually these type of cases usually end up, you know, just disappearing and dying because once again, they found the baby. Allegedly, the baby is unharmed. And, you know, I don't know. Well, I'll keep trying to follow up on this one. If anybody, I'm so dark. Let me go ahead and put the lights on. I forgot to put the lights on. If anybody has any information, follow-up information on this, on like what the parents may have done, as also the identity of the man who has been detained, that would be great. That would be really good and helpful if any one of you awesome people out there can identify the man who took Delia. All right. So that being said, that opens up another can of worms as to reform in the Amber Alert system. And I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. State lawmakers and advocates push for Amber Alert reform after Chelan County tragedy. I may not be saying the county's name correctly, so I apologize for that. State lawmakers, parents of victims, and child safety advocates are calling for a full review of the Amber Alert system following the murders of 3 young girls in Chelan County last month. Family members of Olivia, Evelyn, and Peyton Decker have questioned why an Amber Alert wasn't issued when their father, Travis Decker, failed to return his daughters to their mother following an unsupervised court-ordered visit. And I agree with that. I really wondered why they did not issue an Amber Alert, because they knew what kind of car he was driving, they knew who he was, and he kidnapped the children. It was custodial interference. And we see, especially in New York, a lot of Amber Alerts are custodial interference cases. So it's not like that's not something they can do, because we do that in New York and we don't get a lot of Amber Alerts. But when we do, some of the times it's parents who have not returned children when they were supposed to after custody visits, which is a crime. Drop my mouse, sorry. So on Friday, a group independent of the Decker family announced they are launching their own push for reform in light of the recent events that have shaken our state. In my heart, our state, my heart is grieving, said Tamara Emerson, the executive director of A4 Safety Alliance and co-founder of End Child Abuse with Washington. We're here because every child deserves to be safe, and we know change begins when we come together in courage and care. Local and federal law enforcement have been searching for the 32-year-old father of the girls, Travis Decker. He's dead, by the way. That's my belief. My belief is he's gone. But the thing is, I don't, he's a person that's trained to be in the wilderness. I don't think he made it easy. I think he found himself so like a really secluded area, a ditch, a cave or something like that. And then he ended himself. We are here because every child deserves blah, blah, blah. We talked about that. We're searching for 32-year-old father of the girls, Travis Decker, from the air and on the ground. After the bodies of his daughters were discovered on June 2nd, the bodies of all 3 girls were found about 75 to 100 yards away down an embankment. And investigators noticed zip ties and plastic bags were scattered throughout the area. It was later determined the girls had been suffocated and their deaths were formally identified as homicides. Sad stuff. The girls were first reported missing May 29th after Decker failed to return them to their mother as part of their court-ordered visitation plan. Decker, an Army veteran, was not allowed to take the girls out of the Wenatchee area and was not allowed overnight stays per the plan. And my thing is, like, the guy's living in his car. He's suffering from mental illness. Why does he have custody, unsupervised custody agreement? Why are the courts so stupid? And believe me, I am a proponent of giving more rights to fathers. I feel that our system is unjust. I feel like we need spousal support reform. We need child support reform. You see these mothers using child support to support their lifestyles and not for their children. I feel like child support should be put on a credit card that can be itemized so that you know exactly what the mother's spending the stuff on. Things like helping out with utilities should be agreed upon, should be not known by the courts. Things like buying food, once again, itemized, stuff like that. And whatever's left over should be put into a bank account for the children for when they turn 18, like some type of trust. So if mother doesn't spend all of the money on necessities, either 2 things. A, child support should be reassessed and lowered, or B, the difference should be put inside of a trust for the children. I don't think that people should be able to live off of child support. You have women who are stay-at-home moms because of child support. It's crazy to me. But that being said, if a mother is dealing with a father who is mentally ill, who is a certified human weapon, who does not have a job and is living out of his truck, why are you giving little girls to him? Why? Where are they sleeping? In the truck? I'm not saying he shouldn't see his children, but guess what? Until you can get a suitable place to see your children, it needs to be supervised visits in a center, a child advocacy center of some sort, or police station with suitable facilities. If you and the mom don't get along, where you can't come to her house because she has stable living and spend time with your kids there, then you need to go to some type of center. But instead, they let this man who's homeless, living in a truck, in a pickup truck, have 3 girls. That doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, let's keep going. A spokesperson for the Washington State Patrol said the requirement were not met to issue an Amber Alert when the sisters from Wenatchee vanished with their father during a custody visit. Instead, the agency issued an Endangered Missing Person Alert, EMPA, which listed the names of the girls and their father as well as a description of the truck. Now, what are the descriptions for an Amber Alert over there? Because they said, I thought you had to have you have to notice, you have to have a car, all that good stuff, description, like, didn't they have that? But anyway, this is between EMPA and Amber. And Amber has that push notification that we all get on our phones. You have to look at it. You have to address it. The MPA does not have that. Emerson and others are now calling for a review of Washington's Amber Alert protocols and a deeper look at how the family court system can better protect children from harm. Are there gaps in Washington's Amber Alert system? Could it have moved faster, reached farther, triggered action that might have saved lives, said Rep. Amy Whalen, who is part of this effort. We are determined to review the Amber Alert system and assess what reforms are needed, whether it's expanded criteria, improve interagency coordination, or strengthen the role of family violence risk assessment in custody proceedings. We need to do that. We need to do that. So basically, that's where their take is, and I agree with them 100%. You can go ahead and read the whole article for yourself.